You are now listening.
You
are now listening to the Black Male Educators Alliance podcast.
Lifting our voices.
Lifting our voices.
Good evening and welcome to the Lifting Our Voices, a BMEA podcast. We have a big show planned for tonight, but before we jump into the show, we just wanted to, on behalf of BMEA, extend our condolences to the families, faculty, and students over at Oxford High. For those of you who may not know, there was a school shooting there today, and Oxford is about an hour or so outside of Detroit. In the state of Michigan, of course. And so as educators, I think anytime we get the news that there was a school shooting, it hits a little different for us. And so again, just from, us to them, our condolences. And so with that, there's no real easy way to make a left turn back into the show, but we're going to attempt to do that. And so again, this is Lifting Our Voices, a BMEA podcast. It is November 30th. And it is the annual Giving Tuesday. So this is a special edition of the podcast. We usually are in your face on Thursday nights, but we decided to have a special edition. We've never done a special edition. So this is our special edition, Giving Tuesday. Mike, Chris, first of all, I hope everyone had a great holiday, and I want to know what the follow-up on those plates that were ate on Thursday. And so we'll start with Mike. How was your holiday? Then we'll jump into you, Chris.
No, holiday was good, man. I love being around, seeing family. So I was in South Carolina, Beaufort, South Carolina, for the holiday, and got to spend some time with some family. So it was good. Plates were immaculate. Shouts out to my grandmother, my mother, and my aunt. Awesome. They were killing it in the kitchen. So
awesome, Chris.
Yeah, man. Echo those same thoughts. Food was good. Very relaxing holiday. Shout out to my wife, also my kids. They did a lot of helping. I kind of, I spent some time in there while they were cooking, just giving a couple pointers here and there. But they did the
managing the situation.
Yeah, making sure it was efficient. But no, it was good. Ate good. My wife made some great desserts too. So it was a good holiday, man. Just relaxed. And I moved my Peloton down to the basement. I haven't used it since then, but we one step closer getting the gym together.
Let me know, Chris. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, hey, I'm ready. So we just got to find the time in your schedule.
Okay.
So real quick, Mike, you said your plate was immaculate. Chris, you didn't really give a solid adjective to describe your plate, but for me, magnificent. Yeah, immaculate, magnificent. I'll say that my plate was elite. So shout out to the family members that played a role in that. I wasn't necessarily managing the situation. I was watching football, but shout out to that. And I'm with you, Chris. It was just needed, restful, rejuvenating. And so we're back at it. And so, you go into Black Friday, people doing whatever shopping, there's Cyber Monday, people who like to do it online. And then, of course, Giving Tuesday. And for those who may not be familiar with Giving Tuesday, it's really just this concept of while we're spending money to corporations and small businesses on Saturdays. I forgot to mention that on Tuesdays, this idea that, you want to give a little bit back to organizations and groups that are really trying to push the status quo about the things that they're passionate about. And for us, obviously, that's education. And so we're here. And so with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Mike to give us really the rundown of what Giving Tuesday looks like for BMEA.
Yeah, man. So this is our first actual annual Giving Tuesday, and we're asking for our friends and family in the community to donate. In this episode, we're just going to talk a little bit about what we do so people know where those donations go. I mean, obviously, if you're a viewer of the show, you know a little bit about BMEA, but some people are new to the show. Some people are new to us just from the promotions, and we want to talk a little bit about what we do so they can understand like the impact that we have on education and on students, and then why those donations are so important to us.
Yeah, and so we really get an opportunity to peel back the BMEA curtain a little bit and bring some of our brothers and sisters in the organization out into the forefront. And so we're going to hear from 4 leaders in the BMEA organization, and they're going to talk a little bit about what they do and why they do it. And ideally, that will inspire some folks to help us continue to push our mission through the state of Michigan and beyond. And so Our first guest today is the BMEA Director of Programming, Brandon Lane, and he's very excited to be here today. So everyone, please give it up for Brandon Lane.
Welcome to the show, Brandon. Please unmute. And before you jump in, Brandon, I want to just show everyone we do have this QR code. If you're viewing this from your TV, you can scan the QR code, take it to our website where we have a tracker. And we have donations that have come in from PayPal as well as our website. So we'll get some updated figures too and shout some people out live on the show. But just want to get this out there real quick. But welcome to the show, Brandon. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, bros? How y'all doing? Good to be with you fellas tonight. Jerry, yes, I am excited. Thank you, my brother.
Absolutely welcome. You're only one visit away from becoming an official friend of the show, although you're the director of programming.
Hey, well, let's make it happen at some point.
So, Brandon, before you get started and tell people about yourself, the foundation of our programming is fellowships, right? So what a lot of people don't know is that we give paid fellowships to new teachers, to Black male educators, for them to be able to use that money, whether it's for certifications, for supplies, or all those things. And so these donations that are coming in today, anytime anyone donates, that helps us be able to expand our fellowship for our teachers that support them in the classroom. And so I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about your role and your job, but I wanted to give people that kind of perspective on like how big of a role you have and why these donations are important. So tell a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about me. Y'all, I'm a husband. Been with my wife, my lady, for 10 years. 10-year anniversary is coming up. I'm a father. What I have 2 kids. My son is 3. My daughter is 1, baby girl, and my young lion. I'm from Philly, y'all. So fly Eagles fly all day. Had an ugly loss on Sunday. I couldn't even watch the game. It killed me. Educator, 13 years in the game, starting in the classroom, middle school space. Science is my background. And I'm a creative, love music, all that type of stuff. And I like building with my hands. I love to learn. And really, I think, transitioning into BMEA, what do I do? As Mike said, we have fellowships. So I'm responsible for developing content specifically for all of the programs that we offer. So anything that we discuss, any type of materials that we share, I partner with Mike and the rest of the team to kind of curate those materials and those specific artifacts, if that makes sense.
So Brandon, you mentioned you've been in the game 13 years. You have a 9-to-5 in BMEA, right?
Yeah.
And so at some point, there's passion that goes behind the work that you do for us at BMEA, right? And
sure.
Can you talk just a little bit about why you're so passionate about the specific work you do with BMEA?
Yeah, there's a number of reasons. First and foremost, I think I'm paying it forward. Unfortunately, I didn't have my first Black male educator until college. But I had coaches in my life who really, I would say, changed the trajectory of my life with their influence. Just seeing in myself, I guess, or seeing in me a vision for who I could be, who I could become, spending that time with me, not necessarily talking at me, but talking with me. And then on a college level, Dr. Lance Shipman Young, I was actually thinking about dropping out and going back to Philly and really kind of staying local because I was nervous, had a bit of self-doubt. And he sat me down and had a real come to Jesus conversation about, stepping into my responsibilities and keeping my word and really believing in me. So he spoke a little bit of life into me. And that was something that I had wanted really from my father, things like that, if you will. So one, I had a number of Black men lean into Brandon, and I'm paying it forward to an extent. The other part of that is I really appreciate my teaching program. I'm an alternate route educator, right? So I got love for y'all out there who went the alternate route. But it failed to an extent to prepare me for the classroom and to speak to me as a Black man in a racialized society, one who is going to support, Black families, Black boys, Black girls, and not just the Black kids, all kids, but kids who look like me and spoke like me. So I really want to be in a position. Well, I'm in a position now to really support brothers coming into education from that alternate route, right, coming from a different career, and really developing them with research-based practices. Not to say I didn't get that before, but really transformative, healing, inside-out work, right? And preparing to really love our kids well, not teach at them, but really develop their cognitive abilities, skills, etc. So I would say those two things really stand out to me the most when I think about why I joined BMEA and really why I think the work is important.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear that, like, kind of your origin story, and also where you feel like your training helps you, but also failed you in some ways, and you feel like you can kind of help fill that gap for other people. I want to have you give your best, maybe pitch to the audience for those listening, because I think that we hear so many things on media, just advertisements, and everything wants our attention and our dollars. But why should someone listening contribute to BMEA's mission, like financially? Maybe tell us like why you think a person should do that and what that actually goes to support.
Yeah, I would say partnership and the impact. Specifically, your dollars go towards the development of men and women who are coming into this field, really to have a serious, palatable impact on families, children, their lives, right? The research says it. Black male educators really have an impact for all outcomes for all children, right? Then specifically going into what Mike had mentioned earlier, we have fellowships where the money's not coming to us. We're giving it to people who are transitioning to education, whether it be for the state testing, whether it be for development, supporting them as they transition. Also, just for the programs that we offer as it pertains to our annual events, quarterly events. We also support those, or not support, we have to pay for, those guest speakers, people who come on. But ultimately, this is for the development, the engagement, and the recruitment of individuals who are going to sit down with our kids and really influence and impact their lives to the best extent, to the fullest extent possible. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
So real quick, I know, Mike, you got one more question. Chris, with that being said, where can we send listeners and viewers to if they were just inspired by Lane?
I got you right here. I want to actually pull it up. We have the QR code that you can actually scan. And of course, you can also go to our website, bmeaofmichigan.org. Mike, go ahead, like you're muted.
No, yeah. So I was just going to say, while we got you on here, Lane, man, I know it's Giving Tuesday, but we want to give you your flowers, man, for all the work that you do for BMEA. Me and him spend a lot of late hours working after work, and you make a lot of stuff possible for us, man. So we appreciate you. And I want the audience to see, the man behind, some of our great work that we do. So thank you again, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all.
And we appreciate, you spend a little bit of time with us. The next time you come on, we'll spend more time with you. All right.
Yeah. I look forward to it. Thanks, fellas. Love y'all, and
appreciate
see you
that.
soon.
Yep. All right, Lane. Listening to Lane, this idea of paying it forward, I was kind of sent me into a space of thinking about. I think that's why a lot of us are doing this, right? Either we had somebody who inspired that, or we didn't have somebody who inspired that, and we wanted to be that presence for an upcoming educator or for a student. And so I'm glad that Lane highlighted that. Go ahead, Mike.
And he undersold him stuff, man. He's been doing a lot of research. We've been doing a lot of talking and discussion around like things that we want to see in the classrooms, like where education is going. And so, he's definitely going to be on a future podcast because we've already been, we've been going back and forth over that book I was telling you about, just trauma-informed education. So a lot of exciting things, a lot of things that we want to see in the classroom. We get to be able to do that, in this organization. So we'll definitely have him in the future talk more about the work.
All right. So as we continue to, like I said, pull that curtain back, we also, our next guest, a major player at BMEA. I would call her the first lady of BMEA. We want to bring in our director of communication and finance, Stacey Williams. Please give a round of applause for Stacey Williams. Welcome, Stacey.
Hey, fellas.
Welcome.
Jerry, you are nuts.
Well, I was going to say matriarch, but I didn't think that was going to go over well. So we'll just stick with first lady.
Hey, fellas, I'm so excited to be with you all this evening.
Yes. So, Stacy, first lady for real. That's the best way to describe it because this organization could not hold itself together without Stacy at all. You know what I mean? At all. Even from our beginning, she's always been there. So it was important, very important to us to make sure we got her pretty face on this screen so everybody can know who's behind, keeping this organization rolling. And so, Stacy, if you could just tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do here.
Well, I'm humbled by that introduction. So I am the director of communications and finance. And what that means is simply I help to tell the story. And so there are a group of people that do a ton of work that I don't have expertise in, right? So I have some wonderful designers. Cedric Scott, I have to call him out. Sarah Feldman, I have to call her out. And then in our early stages, we had Dana Lewis-Jones, who also assisted us. So there are some phenomenal talents and creatives that help to tell the story. I am the written component of that story, of that little structure. And so it is my job to sort of manage that. And then as far as the finance is concerned, I try to make sure that we're in compliance and good standing with the IRS, that all of our contractors are paid, all of our special guests are paid, and just make sure that we do our due diligence on the finance side.
So similar, Stacy, to Brandon, you have a 9-to-5 out in this world, right? And you still find the time outside of the job that pays you to commit and show up for BMEA. And so obviously that speaks to passion, that speaks to an understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. And so, I mean, tell us your why. Like, why do you sign up to do this in the late hours of the night or the early hours of the morning? What's your why?
Oh, I could talk all day, but I won't.
Well, we don't have. Yep. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Stacy.
So, honest to goodness, this is the work that I am passionate about. So my 9-to-5 is my 9-to-5, right? But this is the work that I'm most passionate about. I believe in the vision for this organization, and I have seen our visionary at work. I have seen him transform communities of schools on the elementary level, middle school level, high school level. I've seen him transform the minds of collegiates and on a regional stage and even on a national stage. And so I believe in the work. I absolutely am about advancing my community on any level. And by any means, by any means necessary. But the work that you all do, I think that Black men just don't get recognized enough for the powerful roles that you all play and the impact that you have on our community. And so I will do whatever and utilize whatever talents I have to push this vision forward.
Appreciate that. So, Stace, were you a classroom teacher for the people here?
No, I was a consultant, and I was they called it a violence prevention consultant back in the day for DPS. So it was like I worked with the dean and the truancy officer. No, I was never.
Yeah. And the reason I said that is because, I think what you said about how you're about advancing your community, I think a lot of people can resonate with that because not everyone, is a classroom teacher. And sometimes if you're not working directly in the school, you may feel like, oh, you can't help make it better. So I want you to help appeal to that person that is about uplifting their community, like why they should support BMEA and some of the work we're doing.
Well, very simply, BMEA does the work. There are a ton of intelligent people. There are a ton of intelligent Black men who speak about the ills of our community and our plight. However, I think that BMEA executes. We absolutely do the work. We train leadership teams. We train educators. We help to improve their practice on a day-to-day basis. So not only are we speaking about it, are we, informing people about it, but you're actually doing the work. And then all of the fellows who have been in any of our fellowships, even when we were really, really small and had absolutely no money, we were still taking the funds that we did receive from so many wonderful donors and paying those fellows just to let them know that we appreciated them trusting us to train them to be better. And so to those of you who are not educators or who feel like you don't have an impact because you've never, been certified to teach or to help that educator improve, I'm telling you, this is an organization that is about the work, that is about the community. And if you are about uplifting and empowering Black people, this is where you do it.
And Stacey, you thank you first of all. Just the the work that we're doing, but I think just giving you your flowers, like no one would, our quality and people being able to see the work that we do is all thanks to you and the work that you do. So like you are as important, if not the important person to how this organization flourishes. And so we appreciate you. We love you. You know what I mean? Queen of BMEA, your crown. So thank you so much, Stacey. We appreciate you.
Love y'all. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Stacey. So one of the things, and I know we're gonna put the QR code up, but one of the things Stacey mentioned, and I think I want to amplify it. Look, we don't need everybody to be a teacher. we don't need that, right? There are Black people doing a lot of great things in other industries, and maybe don't even have the patience to be a teacher, right? And that's okay. But if you're about Black kids, if you're about pushing education forward for our kids, donate to BMEA, right? It's Giving Tuesday. Whatever rebates you're getting from TVs on Black Friday, send that over to BMEA.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we got another BMEA a member coming out, joining us, and this just Joe's first time.
This is Bush's first time. Bush is in the waiting room ready.
Even better. Again, Joe, Joe Bush, our director of operations at BMEA. This is his first time getting a little camera time on the show. So let's bring in what we affectionately know as, or who we affectionately know as Bush. Welcome to the show, Bush.
What up, though? What's up, man? Appreciate y'all having me, man. How y'all feeling today?
I feel great, and I feel great because you gave yourself a round of applause, and I haven't seen anyone do that before on the show, so shout out to you for that.
Yes, sir. So Bush, man, hey, so first off, tell you're new to the show, but you'll be front of the guest soon, man. Tell people a little bit about yourself, man, and how you got to us.
Honestly, man, I'm just a human being, bro. Just kind of navigating this experience, man, learning what I'm learning, and just trying to get better and help people apply it to their life, man. Some things that do work. I've been fortunate enough to have, people in my life to, help guide me to get to this this place that I'm at, man. And so I'm appreciative, and like I heard Lane say earlier, man, just being able to pay it forward, man, is what is, what has been about for me. But for BMEA, I'm responsible for connecting, the dots between our programming team and also, our marketing department. I make sure our fellows that are in our fellowships get the resources that they need, as well as, support whenever they need it. We have a fellow going through stuff, and, him and I, we've been, chopping it up, just making sure, he in good spirits. And we also have sketchies, man. For those who aren't familiar, it's the state continuing education credit clock hours. So if you're trying to get your, continue, progressing, come over to BMEA to get your sketchy hours, man. We'll get you together, man.
So Bush, you are a fellowship alum yourself, right? And you're starting to navigate your way through the educator space. And so can you just talk a little bit about how being a part of the fellowship impacted you personally?
Yeah, man, from just restorative practices, just learning about like the academic rigor, why that's important. Like really understanding what being culturally aware, and also just making sure the built those authentic relationships. And me being fairly new to education, man, that's the foundation that BMEA has has given me, man. So I'm forever grateful for that, man. So I'm able to just kind of, just learn some things, man, that I'm guaranteed that I won't be able to learn in these colleges, and just be able to, kind of brainstorm and, learn from a group of like-minded people, man. But the fellowship, it really, I think the most important thing I would say, it just taught me how to hold students to high expectations, and also being able to support them in a way that's going to be not only sustainable for themselves, but also just necessary, because, man, this is how we plan on pushing humanity forward, man. And I'm like I said, man, I'm grateful for the fellowship and what the tools that it's given me.
One thing I appreciate about what you're highlighting for everyone, Bush, is that the work we're doing is impactful, right? For a lot of people, I mean, it's not just you saying it or us saying it for you or for other people, but people have remarked about how the experiences have been rich and more valuable than some of their college courses and things of that sort. And at the same time, you have, it's like there are resources being poured into you to get these things, so that you're not having to come out of pocket for things like that. We've asked everyone, but I want to know, what's your take on like why someone should, support that mission? Because I think sometimes we overlook it, but these are like real life adults and professionals who are being developed. So you've been in it. Maybe speak from that perspective on like why someone should continue it, so that these programs can continue for other educators or prospective educators.
I mean, I'll just say really just the richness just the knowledge, man. I end up switching my major over to education because of the things that I've been learning through, the fellowship, and even just, just kind of bumming information off of y'all when we in our leadership team meetings, man. And the things that I'm learning in my classes right now, bro, I mean, and it, it's good, but the teachers are like, man, this is like, whoa, this is like phenomenal. And I'm just like, man, and the teacher telling me this stuff that, them jokers I haven't even thought of. And I'm just like, wow, and I mean, to me, it's just, it's really mind blowing, man. But I mean, just seeing the work, that our programming department does, man, the countless hours you guys put in, man, to make sure that these fellowships tight, to make sure our workshops are tight, man, and also to make sure, man, I feel like every single conference, every single conference, man, we have phenomenal speakers, man, and Chris Emden, Dr. Emden, Dr. Carter, them jokers, man, they don't come cheap, but what they do, they provide something, man, that they just light that fire, bro, and get you going and inspired to do something.
I'll say this: if you haven't been to a BMEA conference or a convening, you need to get to one, because Joe's not lying. Folks come with knowledge that even if you listen in for 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to walk away with something that'll make you better as an educator. So you're absolutely right, Bush. I appreciate you highlighting those two for sure. Anything else for Bush before we let him get back to his Tuesday night?
Yeah, man. Just, Bush is one of those guys who joined us, a couple years in after we had already got established. And it's people like the organization, but Bush believed in our mission, and he joined the team and like missed no beats. And he's just been keeping all the moving pieces together. And so like the rest of us, we appreciate Bush so much, man. We love you. You're like a brother to me now, man. So much love, and we appreciate you. Thank you, man.
And before Bush goes, Mike, you explicitly said to everybody else, giving them the flowers. So we're gonna make sure Bush gets his flowers too. We've seen Bush come a long way in a short time, and so we want to make sure he feels that too. So shout out to Joe Bush for sure.
Hey, appreciate y'all having me, man. And hey, man, please continue to do what y'all do, man. Y'all jokers, y'all really inspire me, man. Just to be a better human being, man, and just really understand how sacred this work is, man. And being a black male educator is so important, man. My bad, I'm running over, but man, these black boys need to see what it looks like to be modeled, just to be a human being, man. And I appreciate y'all for like helping me lean in to my greatness, man, and my fears, and just, you know, do what I'm able to do with you guys, man. Thank y'all.
Appreciate that, Joe. Keep pushing.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Take it easy, Joe.
You know, the thing about Bush, he's like a real life product of what BMEA exists to do, right? And so he decided he wanted to jump in, and BMEA helped, like he said, set the foundation, all right, and that he can build from. And so anybody, you know, maybe if you don't, maybe you're inspired by the story, you don't have cash, but you now want to jump in and learn more about the work that we're doing, please do that. But again, real quick, Chris, before we go to our final, here it is. Please scan that QR code and support BMEA in our work. So lastly, tonight, we are going to bring on Assistant Director of Programming. So he works very closely with Brandon Lane. We're going to welcome our other Joe, Joe Hines. Welcome to the show, Joe Hines.
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing? It feels good to be back.
Welcome back. That makes you an official. You've always been a friend of the show, but you're really now an official friend of the show, Joe. Welcome
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be a friend of the show. Every day that we have an opportunity to fellowship and dwell in community is a blessing, especially given what we're experiencing in the world. So I'm thankful for this opportunity to just share a little light. You know, I think I'm a top reposter too. I get that little top rating and I join in the comments. So shout out to all our folks who are in the comments, who are reoccurring viewers, who post us, who have that, I think it's a diamond or it's a heart or something, but you know, just want to shout us out.
So Joe, I mean, for the people who don't know, I know they see you a lot, but people don't know all that you do, man. Talk about what you do with the BMEA.
Yeah, definitely. So with my role, I have the distinct pleasure to work alongside Mike and Brandon and the whole team at certain points on my programmatic efforts when it comes to our fellowships that we run for early career teachers, as well as our principals fellowship. I also have an opportunity to support our quarterly events. I don't have an issue getting up and speaking. I hated silence. I was the kid who just always raised their hand and wanted to talk. So when we want to MC events, when we want to do certain things, I sometimes take the hymns of that responsibility for our organization. And all in all, it's about moving our mission, you know, forward, recruiting, engaging and developing. And so for the city of Detroit. And so I play a role in like changing the city that birthed me. And so that's always an honor.
So, you know, I'm going to ask, you know, about the why, but you sort of got into it, right? Detroit, and you're trying to change the landscape of the education space here in the city, your city. But if there is more to your why, we would love to hear it.
I think, yes, there's always more to the why.
You know, I figured I just, you know, tee it up for you.
Talk about that.
But you know, they'll stay in the time. No, I'm joking.
But I would say the time phrase. You know me well.
Oh, you good, bro? Let's go. Let's hear it.
You know, I think when it comes to my why, it exists at a couple of places. Number one, I am a teacher's kid. I'm a grandchild of a teacher. I have aunts and uncles who are teachers. And I think education just doesn't exist inside the K through 12 space. It's always an opportunity beyond that. So for me, it's making sure I have an opportunity to align myself with an organization such as BMEA that's doing work to change the landscape of education. Number two, I think when it comes to Detroit, at one point we were top 5 in the country in population, right? But I think we're one of the hardest working cities on the face of the world. And so to be able to be at a decision-making role in an organization that changes the landscapes of the future generations by working with the adults who are in charge of those future generations, that's a privilege and an honor that I can't turn down. I can keep talking, but I'm gonna stop right there.
That's plenty. Thanks, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, so Joe, you know, there's a lot of I think there's a lot of organizations who have missions. I think we've highlighted through numerous people that we've had on the show, just how I think Stacy said it best, which said BMEA does the work. And we've been also soliciting people to donate support. Like for you, Joe, I guess what's the difference between, giving some money to something you don't really, it may have a great sounding mission versus an organization like BMEA where people doing the work and you actually, the impact is tangible and it's also going to be long lasting, right? Like you just mentioned, where it's like it's impacting generations to come due to the very nature of the work of education and impacting the adults who teach the youth. Does that play a part into how you think about support? And like, what would you say to someone else who's considering supporting?
I definitely think it plays a part in how I support or I align myself with different organizations. I'm a kid who, I was a YMCA kid, I was a camp kid. So I've been blessed to have two parents. But because of my parents' commitment to children, I often was in programs that supported children because they're at the schoolhouse to 8 a.m. Shout out to my nephews and nieces, Chris, and where you're just at school. So for me, I think it definitely plays a role. I think what's the difference in supporting BMEA versus other organization, I think is the intention. The intention is about changing what currently is in play and be extremely radical. Education as a whole has never been reformed in its true essence form. It wasn't designed for Black folks and communities of color. And how we are currently doing school, we have to change. The pandemic forced us to change, right? And we were in existence prior to the pandemic. So I think for the individuals who are considering, why should I sow a seed into BMEA? And I'm using the word sow because when you sow a seed, you have to nurture it, right? You might not necessarily be there to nurture it, but then you can believe in the mission. You can believe in the individuals who are at the helm of the organization to continue to nurture the seed, to continue to make sure that it grows. I think our leader in Curtis Lewis and what he's been able to accomplish since the inception of this organization is dynamic, right? Our fellows and our reach across the city and to other places in the country and the world is a testament to what you'll be able to do by donating to BMEA. And I think that's a great opportunity.
Thank you, man. And just in the tradition of giving our flowers out to you and everyone who's been working so hard for this organization. You didn't mention that you're the master of our ceremony, right? And so whenever we have any type of event, any fellowship, any session, any time that we're going to be in front of people, Joe leads us off because he always makes sure he brings community. He brings this air of Blackness that's so important and unique to what we do because we are Black male educators, right? And so like the quality of our sessions, the authenticity of the work we do, a lot of that leans on on Joe and what he does, man. So we really appreciate you, Joe, man. You've been since the beginning A1. So shouts out to you, man. Here are your flowers.
Man, I'm humbled and appreciative, man. This is what year, almost 15 in education. So hey, I do the work to, stand on the battle with all of you all. So I'm blessed.
Appreciate that, Hines. Well, Hines, get back to your Tuesday night. We appreciate you being on. Official friend of the show. We look forward to having you back. And that's it, man. Have a great evening.
You too, man.
So again, it is Giving Tuesday. We were able to introduce a lot of our viewers and listeners to folks who really make the BMEA engine go. Brandon, Stacy, Joe, and Joe play essential roles in the health and sustainability of our organization. And so, again, we just want to shout them out for joining us today. One final push. I'm going to turn it over to Mike to give one final push for Giving Tuesday. It's all yours, Mike. Make them go full screen, Chris.
Yeah, man. So first off, I want to shout out Sarah Feldman and Cedric, man, Scott. They've been doing so much work for us as well. So be remiss without giving them their flowers. Appreciate all the work that you guys do. Obviously, and last but obviously not least, our CEO, our founder, Dr. Curtis L. Lewis. His vision keeps us going forward. And, we completely believe in what he has in store for BMEA in the future. To be frank, in terms of, why you support BMEA, we know education needs to change. We don't know who's going to do it, but BMEA is doing the work to do it, right? Specifically for Black children, but for all children, right? Education is not working. It is not designed to work the way it is set up. And so we are in the classrooms with the teachers, with the students, trying to make these adjustments and these changes. And so with your help, we'll be able to continue to do that work. We'll be able to expand our work and to make the real impact. And so in the future, you should be seeing things different and really improve the outcomes for all students.
Absolutely. And so, Mike, one thing I appreciate you mentioning was, yes, obviously, Black male educators have a strong place in the development of a Black student, but also students who aren't Black can gain a lot from having a Black male educator too. So shout out to all of the Black educators, period, that are in maybe not majority Black schools, because there's important work there too. And so shout out to those folks as well. So with that being said, again, on behalf of BMEA, we appreciate all the support that we are receiving today. We want to make sure that is heard too. We are going to get back on schedule for our next podcast on December 16th. So we will be back on Thursday nights, ready to close out this calendar year. It's been a heck of a year, but we're excited to close it out. You can follow us on all of the socials, BMEA of Michigan. Any last words from you, Chris or Mike?
I just want to say great show. Appreciate all the guests taking time out of the day to join us. It was good to hear their stories, because everyone has a slightly different role. We support the mission, but people actually do have like designated roles. So hopefully for the listeners, you got to see a little bit of just how the organization is structured, and also just the whys behind why people do the work. It's always cool to hear that from me.
One last thing I want to say, appreciate everyone. Shouts out to everyone who donated already. We have over $700 worth of donations, so we appreciate every little bit counts. Even after today, please go to the website, bmeafmichigan.org. Even after you donate, check out what we've done. We have some stuff up there. We have the shop where you can get, your BMEA paraphernalia, shirts, hats, hoodies, just to represent us and continue to support the organization, see the work that we're doing, and just keep updated with how the work we're doing in the community. So make sure you visit us at the website.
And before we go, if donating money is not your thing, you'd rather donate time, all of our different DMs are open on those channels, and we would love to see what's possible in partnership. And so with that being said, we will see everyone back on Thursday, December 16th. This is Lifting Our Voices, a BMEA podcast.
You are now listening
to the Black Male Educators Alliance podcast.
Lifting our voices.
Lifting our voices.